About yourself, what is it that inspired you to get into music in general?
I know when I was a kid, we used to go to the public pool in the small town that I lived in, and I used to like to set out my towel underneath this speaker that played like this thing that was called American Top 40 that used to play back when I was a kid in the 70s. And so, and as they would run this show, the DJ was a guy named Casey Kasem, and he was always adding history, like music, like he was telling these backstories behind these bands, and it was always, to me, it was really fascinating. I think that probably sparked the interest. Then at one point, I know I was in school, and I had a friend who played in the pep band, and I had never actually seen electric guitar up close, but I know that just through watching TV, we had there was Saturday Night Live, there's a show called Fridays that was on, Don Kirshner's rock concert, the Midnight Special, these things, where it was such an exciting time for guitar in the 70s because so much music was based around that, and all kinds of different things were happening. I mean, you had Southern rock and you had Devo, and so you were seeing this the same instrument, but it's just being used in so many different ways. So I think that I became kind of fascinated with it, and then this friend of mine invited me to go down to the band room at school and see his new guitar that he got. And so I went down there and saw he had a white Fender Stratocaster, and that was the first time I'd actually seen one in person and up close, and it was just kind of like time stopped right then and there.
The Jimi Hendrix type of white Stratocaster?
Yeah, very similar.
You yourself, now you make instruments. So talk a little bit about why your instruments and what do you do?
I started building them actually shortly after I saw that very first guitar at age 14, but just more as can I do this? And that was also around the time I was learning how to repair them and fix them. And then over the years I made some one-offs and did stuff here and there, but was always maybe a little bit too shy to ever put your name on it, it was just kind of one of those things like introverts or antisocial people do. So, and I was thinking at one point after a lifetime of doing repair and understanding, this is your identity. Being a great repair person essentially is being invisible. If you do really good work, it never happened. That's the goal, is to do work that is, you're typically trying to put something back to where either something unfortunate didn't happen or just happens through normal wear and tear. So I started thinking a little bit about this idea of building as a way to make something tangible that shows what you've learned throughout your lifetime. And it's, I think, a better representation of just yourself. I think when people are trying to figure out who are you, what do you do, what have you done with your time? So for me, being able to make something that encompasses so many things that you've learned, and it's just a big part of that, and also you come to this realization that you have gone through your life with an artist's brain, in the way that you see the world, and you really need a place to put that. And I remember reading something a little while back that said that people who make things don't really ever sit around and question who the fuck they are. They're typically you have something tangible and you immediately know what you did with your life. And so it's really got more to do with that than probably anything. And there's a lot of ideas in there about sound and design and style, and all of it is just that. And it's a place to put that energy.
I guess this leads perfectly into a question I had for you. What is the most rewarding part of your job?
I think wrapping one up, because it's such a long process to go from an idea to actually making this thing, and then all the perfectionism that goes into it. And so much happens even in the last few days where all those final surface components and things are coming together, and all the fine tuning to where when it's done, it can be kind of overwhelming to see this thing in its final form. I don't think as a kid I could have imagined ever pulling off something like this. Sometimes I'll look at these things and I'll think, I would have always imagined it would have taken a team of 20 to do something like this. But people do it all the time. There's a lot of builders out there, and it's just, it's something that you do, but it's something that was unimaginable at one point in your life, and you slowly, brick by brick, got there.
For you yourself, do you have any future products? Is Wire Instruments your main goal, for the foreseeable future?
Yeah, I'm constantly building, and it's more of a, I think that more than viewing it just as like a business, it's more of something you do creatively to keep yourself engaged, and it's this outlet for a lot of ideas and things. And so I'm constantly building. Sometimes I'll build a lot, sometimes I'll slow down and take it easy. It's just more of a matter of you're just wanting to try to always outdo yourself and see, it's this competition that you have with yourself to see if you can keep doing things that you enjoy. So I have a red one I've been working on this week that I'd be happy to show you.
Sure, yeah.
So
That's beauty.
thanks.
That's a gorgeous red color.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, good old red. You can't go wrong with that.
So how long does it typically take for you to make a guitar from scratch?
The process is interrupted so much by your real job. You make more money touring. Well, that's something that I guess that you enjoy doing. You enjoy doing both. That one can wait. If you get an offer to go out and do something that's lucrative on the road, sometimes these will sit for a year, and I'll get back to them eventually. So I don't know that I've ever figured out a proper timeline where one starts and where it ends. And then I also try to work in batches to where you make like maybe 6 at a time, because this will make things a little more efficient. And so if you're wiring up control cavities, you kind of get an idea of the best way to do it. And in that time spent doing it, you might as well knock out a handful of them as if you worked in the factory on that process, day after day. So that's as close as you're going to get to that. But it's something where, I think when you have to gear up for every single tiny thing that you do on it, it just doesn't work well with my.
And would you ever make any original music yourself?
Oh, yeah. I grew up playing in bands, and they were bands that did just that. And that's another thing I've decided to do with this time, was actually dug out my trusty old 4-track tape recorder and brought a lot of weird instruments down here, and was looking forward to doing that in between this. So I really look forward to playing again and getting back out, because I love playing live. It's very fun. I'm kind of from the Mike Tyson school of guitar playing. It's physical.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you like this interview clip of mine with Earnie Bailey, make sure to subscribe for more, because there is a lot more coming. Everything on my channel is 100% original. I'm the one conducting all the interviews and doing all the editing. So if you want to support me, the best way to do so is simply to subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys.